Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. Joe Matera is the author of The Making of ABBA, the story behind the band's 1975 breakthrough album. The story behind the album's front and back, those photos. Tell us where these are taken. And one member had to sit on a stack of phone directories.
That's right, yes, that's Bjorn. If you look at the front cover, they're inside this Rolls Royce, and Bjorn is just sitting there next to Agneta, and he actually had to sit, on top of, in order to make himself look taller, because he's actually quite short. But the cover just represents. There's many views on this, but at the time when ABBA were making this album, they weren't big stars. They were still on their way to sort of trying to become commercially successful. So they didn't have much money. So this album was sort of a bit of a take on, the glamorous lifestyle that could be expected. But also, at the same time in Sweden, there was a leftist movement called prog, as in PROGG, where anything that was considered commercial was considered the enemy. So they had to be a political sort of a movement. And ABBA were never into that. They were into that making great music for mass audience. So that was sort of like public enemy number one at the time. So they sort of their play on, what's wrong with being, successful and being in a limousine and living this high life. But they were nothing like that. I mean, at the time, again, they were on their road to doing that. But it's a great cover, really captures the glamorous look of the band. And at the back, again, they're in the hotel lobby, which I actually visited when I was researching my book in Stockholm.
Oh, yeah?
It's still there, but it's
still
obviously
there?
changed a lot. But yeah, it's just a great image, really.
So some statistics here on the album and its success. It was released April 21st, 1975, though it was released in the UK 6 weeks later on June 7, and in the US almost 4 months later on August 28. It climbed all the way to number 1 in Australia, Sweden, and Norway, number 3 in New Zealand and the Netherlands, number 9 in Italy, number 13 in the UK, number 55 in Canada, and after having debuted on the US Billboard 200 albums chart at 189 on November 15th of 1975, it would only manage to reach number 174 in the US, which is kind of surprising, or maybe not.
It is surprising, yes, absolutely.
Because they became huge here in the second half of the decade.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they went off. The thing about ABBA was during their whole lifespan, they didn't really do many tours. They only did a few tours, So, and when they came to America, they were doing like two-week promotional tours, and then I go back and keep working on the album, that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, look, I think it changed from when I did Dancing Queen the following year. That's when it all changed and sort of reignited interest in the album. But yeah, it's surprising that it only went that far in the US, really.
And 50 years later, how do you view the album in terms of ABBA history and its place in music history?
I view it as one of the most important albums of their career. It set the stage for them to become the superstars of the 70s as they did, especially with the next album that really took them to the next level. It's the album that solidified the sound. It's the album that really represents ABBA as ABBA did become, their sound, the signature sound. So I think anybody who listens to that album can hear so much of ABBA's future, where they were heading, and it really solidified their sort of standing as real musicians.